Hello, moon babies. It's Molly, and welcome to your unicorn forecast for the month of October. I hope that this message finds you well and that you all had a beautiful equinox. This month it felt appropriate to talk about magic, about weirdness, high strangeness, delightful freakiness, synchronicity, and mystery, since it feels like this season takes us there instinctually. And so this month we're going to be using The Heart of the Fairy Oracle by Brian and Wendy Froud, And the question I presented to the cards was, how can we be open to more magic? So we'll look at 3 positions: where we are now, how we might be cutting ourselves off from magic, and how we can invite more magic in. So let's see what the fairies have in store for us. So in our first position of where are we now, we've drawn the gift. How perfect. And in this card we see a mysterious, androgynous figure. And our keywords for this card are wisdom, gracious acceptance, and recognition. So this card is all about receptivity, about how we receive information and gifts of wisdom. This fairy also asks us to remember that things are not always as they seem to be on the surface. Things aren't really things at all, but an ever-shifting collection of events that bring us to the present moment. Very magical thought indeed. And it's about looking, listening, sensing, feeling what's going on around us so we can best be prepared to receive that gift of wisdom. And this figure also reminds us that we are deserving of the gifts we receive, and we can only really absorb the richness of them if we believe we deserve them. So what a perfect card to start our magic and mystery quest. So in our second position of how we might be cutting ourselves off from experiencing more magic, and we've drawn the Smith. So here we see this tough little guy, hard at work with his hammer and anvil. And our key themes for this card are bonds, promises, and creation. Very interesting combination. So this fairy smith works hard, puts all of himself in his creations, and he is a binder of oaths and promises. So in our position of how we might be cutting ourselves off from a more magical life, he could be asking us to review our commitments. Are they out of love or out of obligation or even fear? What are we too tightly bound to without question? He also reminds us that our word is also our bond, and to use our word carefully. Not in a superstitious way, but just to be respectful of our own time and energy by issuing our yeses and nos from a place of personal power. And if we're drained and bitter and stretched too thin and overly attached, we can't be good vessels for magic. So moving on to our third card, how can we open ourselves up to more magic? And we've drawn Bright Spark. So a little flickering, energetic sprite who pops in with a flash. And our keywords for this card are understanding, illumination, and ideas. So this fairy is all about inspiration, and not the huge, earth-shattering, eureka sort of inspiration, but inspiration that comes in glimpses. It visits us in flickers, little moments of inspiration. This is the pinprick of light in a dark room, a kernel of truth amid confusion, a teensy-weensy spark that starts the blaze. So in our position of how we can open ourselves to more magic, Bright Spark wants us to zoom in close and look for the treasures in the crumbs, in the morsels, the miniature and micro moments, and notice them. And that might be the accidental way that rainbows are cast by dish soap, or dew collected on leaves, or doing a double take on an advertisement that you misread. They'll all lead us to the next glowing moment. No idea is too small to open us up to more magic. So let's take a look at our stone for this month. And we've drawn blue apatite. And this stone is connected to inspiration. There's a theme here this month. Inspiration means both being mentally stimulated and the urge to do something creative, as well as the intake of breath. What we draw in. So more hints here about receptivity. Using the breath is also a fantastic tool to help us bring things and ideas to us and to help us relax and balance the body and be more receptive to the moment. Blue apatite also speaks to the future, openness, spiritual connection, and our capacity for humanitarianism. So blue apatite is also used to open and access our psychic gifts, particularly as an aid in meditation. So lots of information this month about receptivity, opening all of our eyes and noticing and being ready when inspiration finds us because we're looking for it. And I always enjoyed this Rumi quote. It gives me goosebumps, and it says, "What you seek is seeking you." So I hope that you enjoyed our reading this month, Moon Babies. It is my absolute pleasure to create this work for you. So thank you so much for your support and by helping us create more magic in the world as a group. I am deeply grateful to each of you, and I hope that you have a thoroughly magical month. And until we speak again, Moon Babies, witch on, witch boldly, and be well. Keep it weird. Bye-bye.